The rain poured down in heavy sheets, drumming on the rooftops and turning the street into a river of muddy water. Jack Morgan, a single dad with tired eyes and calloused hands, tightened his jacket around himself as he hurried from work, eager to get home to his daughter. He had lived quietly for years, keeping to himself, carrying a secret so heavy that even his closest friends had no idea. He had built walls around his past, vowing never to let anyone close enough to see what he was hiding. But that night, under the relentless storm, fate tore those walls apart. As Jack rounded the corner, he spotted a woman in a soaked military uniform huddled under a weak street lamp. 4 children clung to her, 3 shivering beside her, and the youngest, a wide-eyed little girl, staring out into the rain with innocent curiosity. The soldier's face was pale, her lips trembling, and Jack could tell she was on the edge of exhaustion. She looked like she had marched through more than just the storm, like life itself had been at war with her. Without a second thought, Jack splashed across the flooded street. "Ma'am, you can't stay out here with the kids. You'll get sick," he said, his voice firm but kind. The soldier hesitated, clutching her children protectively. Trust didn't come easy for someone in her position. "I don't know you," she whispered. Jack knelt down, meeting the eyes of the oldest boy, who was maybe 10. "I'm just a dad. My little girl's waiting at home. Please, let me help." Something in his tone broke through her hesitation. With a weary nod, she allowed him to guide them through the rain toward his modest house at the end of the block. The kids stumbled in, dripping and shivering, while Jack handed out towels and started a fire in the old fireplace. The woman introduced herself as Sergeant Emily Hayes. She had returned from deployment only a week earlier, and her husband, overwhelmed by the weight of her absence and his own struggles, had walked out, leaving her alone with 4 children. They had been moving from shelter to shelter, but tonight, the storm had caught them without a safe place to go. Jack listened quietly, stirring soup on the stove, his mind heavy. He recognized the look in her eyes, the haunted stare of someone who had seen too much, carried too much. He knew it because once, long ago, he had worn that same expression. The children slowly warmed up. The older 2 sat close to the fire, whispering to each other, while the youngest, a little girl with curly hair, wandered curiously around the living room. Her big eyes landed on a framed picture tucked on a high shelf, half hidden behind books. She dragged a chair over and climbed up, pulling it into her tiny hands. "Mommy," she called softly, "look." Emily turned, and froze. The picture was of Jack in uniform, his arm around a group of soldiers, a unit patch clear on his sleeve. Her heart skipped. Jack stiffened, realizing too late what the child had found. The secret he had guarded for years was now in the open. He gently took the photo from the girl's hands and set it back on the shelf. "You were a soldier," Emily whispered. It wasn't a question. Jack sighed, lowering himself into a chair. "Yeah, once. I don't talk about it." Her eyes softened. "Why hide it?" Jack's jaw tightened. Memories clawed at him, brothers in arms lost in battle, the guilt of surviving when others hadn't, the impossible weight he carried every day. "Because some things don't deserve to follow you home," he said quietly. The youngest child, oblivious to the heaviness, climbed onto his lap. "But you helped my mommy," she said sweetly. "Heroes always help." Jack's throat tightened. He hadn't felt like a hero in years. But in that simple declaration from a child, something cracked open inside him. Over the following days, Jack let Emily and her kids stay until she found her footing. He helped her navigate resources, called in old favors to get her connected with veteran programs, and even taught her oldest son how to fix a leaky faucet. The house that once felt too quiet, filled only with his daughter's laughter, now echoed with the sound of children playing, arguing, and filling the empty spaces in his heart. But healing wasn't instant. Emily struggled with nightmares, her kids woke crying some nights, and Jack's own past threatened to drag him down. Still, in the mess of it all, something beautiful grew, a bond forged not by perfection, but by shared scars and resilience. One evening, as the rain tapped gently against the window, Emily sat beside Jack by the fire. "You think your secret makes you broken," she said softly. "But to these kids, and to me, it makes you strong. You survived. And you chose to help when you didn't have to. That's not weakness, Jack. That's courage." For the first time in years, Jack believed it. Weeks later, when Emily finally moved into a small apartment with her children, the goodbye wasn't really a goodbye. They were family now, bound not by blood but by something deeper. And whenever the storms came, whether of weather or life, they knew they would face them together. Because sometimes, the people who carry the heaviest secrets are the ones who shine the brightest light when others need it most. And in the eyes of one little girl, Jack Morgan wasn't a man running from his past.